Hello and welcome to the TCF Morning Show. It is Tuesday, August 25th, and tonight I am joined by Mitch Prentice at Mitch R. Prentice on Twitter and Boomy at Boomy TCF. You can follow me, Zach Lilia, on Twitter at ZLiliaTCF. The main page is at typical_Chicago. Go over to Instagram, follow Typical Chicago Fans on there. If you go over to Facebook, please like Typical Chicago Fans Facebook page and YouTube. I don't know if we're still stuck at 69. That was kind of a great number to be at, but we're trying to get to 100 subscribers on the YouTube page. But last night, Mitch, we figured out we were at 69 subscribers. So that was nice. That was nice
Very
to
nice.
know.
Very nice.
Also, wherever you get your podcast from, if it's Apple, subscribe, rate, review. Please give us a 5-star rating, and if it's Spotify, follow us on there. If it's Spreaker, I think we got a few more likes on Spreaker. I don't know if we maybe there are a few new members. So I think your uncles still may be the only two, but shout out to them. Shout out to everyone that's been supporting. Speaking of that, shout out to 26shirts.com Chicago. Go over there, buy some shirts, buy some flags, buy a hat, and then use the promo code Typical Chicago Fans in all caps, and you get 15% off of your purchase. Again, that is Typical Chicago Fans in all caps at checkout, and you get 15% off of your purchase. Like Boomy was saying last night, they're great shirts. They're long. They are nice. Boomy has a few. I have a few. But just said shout out to 26shirts.com Chicago. Go over there. Get some shirts, and then use the promo code Typical Chicago Fans in all caps. You get 15% off. If you like supporting us, keep supporting us with our first. This is our first promo code as Typical Chicago Fans, and so we need your support to show them what kind of fans we got. So again, Typical Chicago Fans in all caps, 15% off of your purchase. Boys, how are we doing on this Tuesday morning?
Doing great, man. Can't complain.
It's so early. I can't believe you guys are awake like this.
Yeah, we're doing a show before the crack of 11 p.m.
If anyone knew me, you knew I could never do a morning show as early as I'd have to. I mean, that'd be insane. I'd really have to get up at like 5 and then expect everyone else. That'd be something else. That'd be a real doozy of a show, I would think.
I had to get up at 6:30 this morning, and that was like killer. I was like,
I do that every day. But I can at least go from like to work, and I don't have to be like cheerful and talking a lot. Like it's not that big a deal if I'm like a little tired. But I feel like that would not go well. But like I said, we got Mitch Prentice back on the show. We've had him on before all the COVID stuff, but he's back on. New house, right?
Yeah, but pretty much. I was actually looking at the last date that I was on here, which I think was early March, and we moved like about a month later. So, yeah, we are now in the good old, still at the Ozarks, but now we are in Eldon, Missouri. So, very happy here. Happy to have made the move, and it's just been a wild few months. That's for sure.
We've got new houses, so we're both moving.
Still churning out the pottery, Mitch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Hannah's been going real hard with it. I've, stuff, and it kind of just never stops. It's I think she likes the new house doing the pottery here even better because she has like her own completely dedicated space now. So that's really
awesome.
Nice. Yeah.
But I won't speak for you guys, but like I kind of use this as like kind of therapy to get away from my real job. So I kind of think that you guys probably use it in that kind of way to get away from reality sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, and especially like I've said it before, but just having such a digital job, it's nice doing something non-digital for a few hours.
Change of pace.
Second home
for
run
sure,
tonight,
for
boys.
sure.
Beautiful. We're gonna get to
saw
that at
that.
the end of the show because they're currently playing right now. Because yes, it is not.
They've already won.
Not morning time. But.
Little peek behind the curtain.
Behind the scenes of the TCF Morning Show. But let's move into our first topic, boys. We got the NBA playoffs. We have another sweep tonight. Miami the Lakers are playing right now. Yes, it was kind of a cool thing.
Smoking them. They're up 23 in the first quarter.
They are. All right, good.
Yeah,
good,
they're up 37 to 14.
First half
they're
and full
crushing
game.
it.
I felt like this was going to be the end of it. This team is looking good right now, as in the Lakers. Kind of cool. I know Boomy is not a fan of DraftKings right now, but they have a plus 81 for the Lakers tonight, so that's pretty cool. But yesterday,
in honor of Kobe's birthday today.
Oh no, it was Mamba Day today. Yesterday.
Yeah.
Mamba.
Yeah.
8/24. His
8/24,
birthday
yeah.
was 8/23.
Yep, that's right. That's
still
what it was.
crazy. It's still crazy that Kobe is not here. It's one of those things you kind of, they say with everything going on with the COVID, you kind of forgot about it, but then you get like, whoa, Kobe's just, I mean, he was what, 40, 42, 43?
Yeah, he was in his 40s.
Yeah.
Man, I was watching. I've just got to start watching The Last Dance because it came onto Netflix, and I was just watching the episode where Kobe was in it. I don't know if he's in more than one. It was like episode 4, and
no,
it was sad.
only that one episode.
It was like I was like, wow, dang, that kind of it's just like it was weird seeing him. Like
kind of hit you like a sack of bricks, man.
It does. It totally does. More than you think.
Boom,
yeah.
Did you think that the Pacers could at least get one win here?
Yeah, man, I thought they were going to at least, at minimum, pull out 1 or 2. Right? They're a good team. They're not a bad team. And Miami, I didn't think was that much better. I'm pretty sure that was the 4 or 5 matchup, too. And Miami just gave them the business, you know?
It was something that I thought that Miami was the better team. But I thought the way TJ Warren was playing and the way Victor Oladipo was back, you would thought, here we go. Maybe we got something here, but it wasn't there the whole series.
Yeah, I didn't think, having Malcolm Brogdon, Victor Oladipo, the way, like you said, the way TJ Warren's been playing. I mean, granted, Justin Holiday played 38 minutes and had 3 points today. He's a bum. But, they got literally nothing out of their bench. They got 3 points out of their entire bench today. 3 points. That's out of their entire bench. I can't repeat that enough. And 3 points out of a starter in Justin Holiday. You're not going to win any NBA games getting 3 points off your bench.
Can you believe that the Thunder made this a series? They tied it up. A team that, I mean, you look at the roster, you see Chris Paul, but you don't see much more than that. There's Steven Adams.
Right. But that's the thing, Zach, though, is the veteran presence.
What?
It's the veteran presence.
Yes.
Those guys whose names you ran off, they've been around the block. They've done it before. And, they're just kind of willing those younger guys, through it right now.
And I know this is a weird situation in the bubble, but if for some reason the Clippers win this series, and the Oklahoma City Thunder win this series, what does that say for James Harden and for Russell Westbrook? Like, how do you let that happen?
Russ still hasn't played yet, though, I don't think.
No, he hasn't? That's on me.
No, he's been out this whole series.
I thought that he was back from his injury. Even at
he did not.
You would still think with what they have, they should, with James Harden, and at first you would think they were playing a little bit better without Russell Westbrook because every once in a while there's just not enough shots to go around. But you think they'll get him back soon?
It's kind of looking like a day-to-day situation. So, I mean, if they're tied at 2, they better, get him figured out.
The Bucks ended their series.
He has not played at all in the playoffs.
Well, this series.
Yeah, I was just double-checking. I didn't know if he played in Game 1. I knew he didn't play 2, 3, or 4. But, yeah, I mean, they might have to rush him back if Oklahoma City's going to keep giving him, this much trouble.
And then the Bucks, they end their series, right?
Yes, that's correct.
It was weird that both 1 seeds lost the first game and then swept from there.
Oh no, I'm sorry. The Bucks are only up 3-1. They still got 1 more.
So they do have 1 more. Okay,
but that's not going to be.
How does that work?
I can't.
If the Lakers win, they'll be up 3-1 too.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know. Okay, so
each team's only played 4 games.
It's still underrated how amazing it is to look at an app as if ESPN Sports Action and you see a 12:30 NBA game. It's beautiful every day. It's beautiful. It's going to be super sad when that goes.
Tomorrow they don't start till 5:30 because two
serious?
of those series are over. Yeah, two of those.
There we go. Now I'm sad.
The Celtics series is over and the Raptors series is over. So we just had. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm not used to this early show stuff.
Yeah, you just you at 5:30 in the morning, your brain is just.
I don't hit peak performance for a while.
But yeah, the NBA playoffs, it's awesome right now. It's awesome. I mean,
it is.
You don't see any different. I mean, yeah, we had the argument about the fans or whatever, but it's in like the thing of looking at it of the game and how they're played, it's still amazing. I mean, this is one of the best playoffs we've seen in a while.
They need to do this every year when the playoffs come. Like, I don't know how you're going to make it happen, but if you can get playoff games starting at 12:30, I don't know what the numbers look like. I really don't even care. I've been watching games when I can, and it's a fit. Especially like the way I look at it, Zach, is that each game is getting. And granted, the 12:30 p.m. spotlight is not going to be the same as the 8 p.m. In the same argument, like they are still getting their own shine. Where like if you think about it in the first round, you're having 4 games going on damn near at the same time. So it kind of gives a little bit of light and kind of gives every game meaning because they all have that little bit extra shine to it.
All right, boys, let's get into this. We had a false test controversy in the NFL. We talked about it last night. Every one of the negative or the positive tests were actually negative tests. And I just think that's so weird. At, like I said, NFL, they're professional athletes, and they're going through something like this. All of them that thought that it would be so weird, too, to think that you got a positive test and then, like, be like, there's nothing wrong with me. How am I even doing this? And then it comes back negative. I need your guys' thoughts and just how this could even happen.
Everything is so, it's so everything COVID related. When it comes to sports, massive, keeping things running normally in the country. It's hard to fault them, like completely, like point the finger, because it's like, who really has the answers to doing anything right when it comes to this? But it is so shocking when you hear the scale at which this was, because, you just think about, like, the Bears, I think, had 9 cases that they thought. Imagine if this wasn't figured out sooner, how many practices they would have missed out on, how many workouts they would have missed out on, how many days, which are just so vital right now, how many days of practice and workouts and scrimmages they would have missed out on for no reason. It's crazy. And then it just makes you wonder, me personally, going into the season when this is going to be even more serious, like when people, the COVID testing is going to be much more necessary and serious. How can you trust it?
True. Especially if
you test positive on a Friday, you're going to get that fixed by a Sunday. Guys, there's only going to be so many games. Like, you can't really afford to miss multiple games because of the testing situation.
So you got to kind of hope that they get it figured out. I guess you got to almost in a way be happy this happened in a way, because it helps them know what they did wrong and they can get it right by the season start. But I guess that's probably the most optimistic way of looking at it, honestly. But overall, it just sucks.
They said that the NFL probably did this because then if Patrick Mahomes somehow test positive on a Saturday, they'd be like, it has to be actually a negative test. That can't be real. And then they Did I see it? Is it Kansas City? Is it Kansas City that is allowing fans?
Yeah, 23% of their stadium.
And then the Bears are not allowed to as of right now.
Well, not only are they allowing fans, but did you see that they're no longer allowing the headdress?
Oh, really?
Yeah, the Chiefs fans can no longer wear Indian headdresses at home games.
Yeah, the Blackhawks did a similar thing earlier this summer.
Yeah. So that's a sign of the times, obviously, but interesting. It's gotta, not to go off into this conversation or anything, but it just kind of makes you wonder how many other teams that's going to start happening to, which I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
That is true. Because, like I said, it's just kind of catching up with the times.
But yeah, I mean, it's that I don't know. The whole false positive things is scary. I'm glad that they were all negative.
Yeah.
You know, I guess that's one good thing to look at.
You got to feel good as an NFL fan today because you know that there's 0, and so you can kind of keep it moving because they're all keeping themselves in not really a bubble, as you would say, but they're all doing their part. As they're pretty much doing what like MLB players are doing right now. They're just told to be safe outside of there, but they're not leaving. Like Tampa Bay is in Tampa Bay, the Bears are there. Like they're not leaving that area. But I've heard a little bit of a rumor that they for the MLB playoffs that they are going to do a bubble type situation.
Well, I think they're considering it. I don't think anything has been put in stone,
but it is interesting to think about that because they're going to be from all over. You don't want them like traveling across country and stuff like that, so it makes sense.
Oh, no, I know. And hey, I was curious. Did you say they're doing how the MLB is like doing it right and people are staying healthy? Did you see the Yadier Molina thing today?
Yes.
Yes. Clown.
Dumb.
He is a clown.
Like,
man.
Is he on the team still?
I thought he opted out.
He did? Okay, because I looked at his Instagram and I looked
Don't
at those
quote me
pictures
on that.
from him playing.
You could be right. I don't actually know. No, he is playing. You know why? Because I think, funny enough, I think in our newspaper recently we had a story about him having 4 hits the other night, like against the Reds. So I'm pretty sure that he is playing. But what a clown, man! Freaking, he puts F. F COVID on Instagram. It's like, dude, your team single-handedly has set back the MLB as a whole because you will not follow the rules. It's like, what is your goal? Like, what are you trying to prove right now,
because he was one of the guys who tested positive. So
I just wish they'd take it seriously. It's just damn.
Just dumb.
He's my least favorite human being on this planet, so I have nothing nice to say about him.
Good to know. Let's move on. We don't really need to break down the college football preseason AP poll, but it's just weird to see teams on there that seasons are canceled as of right now. Like that's very weird to see. Like
I have a funny feeling that like Ohio State, Wisconsin, Penn State, USC, Oregon are not going to finish the season in the top 25. Call me crazy, but
Boomy, you are frozen, and it's hilarious.
The majority.
Oh no, it is.
You're not frozen to me.
Oh, dang it.
The majority of they're playing or at least planning to play in the spring, though.
Yeah, they're
right?
the like Big Ten and Pac-12 and the MAC. I don't know if the MAC is going to play in the spring, but the Big Ten and the Pac-12 have said that they are going to play in the spring as of right now. But the SEC, all those ACC, they're going to keep moving, and they're most likely all going to play. I would say.
But at the end of the day, it doesn't like. It matters, but like, did you also see that the NCAA canceled all of the championships and the playoffs and stuff? So like, with everything, I don't know if there'll be any bowl games.
I have a bad feeling that at some point it's just like, how are you going to be able to see? Like, what if somebody goes to the hospital? What if somebody gets sick? It's just tough as college athletes.
Yeah, sure. Well, especially as college,
they're
talking about guys that aren't getting paid to be out there.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say, right? And they have to, even though, it's questionable whether they really do or not, they are supposed to be studying. And, I mean, there's classes too.
Talked about the false test controversy in the NFL. What about, there's going to be so many more athletes that they're going to have to test in the NFL. And you think that they're just those are all just going to be perfectly good? Like, it's just crazy. That's so many tests that are going to have to happen throughout the season. And at this point, can we trust some of the tests? Like you said, and it's not like it's really some of the tests' fault. Like you said, they were very early in stages of trying to do a bunch of testing at one time. But it just doesn't help the fact of, like you said, putting these kids at risk.
For sure. Yeah, I know it's tough. And I can't even imagine football in the spring, too. Like, that is so strange. Just that whole
when you get that weird, like, March snowstorm in
exactly.
Columbus or, at the U of I. It's going to be comedic.
We get there. Let's just hope we can get there. Honestly.
Absolutely. Fingers crossed.
And then I just kind of also feel bad for like all the other sports that like kind of get their season in the spring, like now all of a sudden baseball doesn't really get to shine anymore,
Baseball could possibly, if things don't clear up, baseball could lose 2 seasons.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Sucks. I love college baseball.
Yeah, and it's going to hurt just like teams and recruiting and how scholarships go. It's not going to be good. The after effect of all this is going to be kind of wild.
Well, think about this. I mean, I've talked about this. I want a very underfunded sport in college athletics. Like, what's that going to do for those schools if you do miss 2 seasons? They're already underfunded enough. And if you look up, there's been multiple Division I schools that have cut baseball since the season got canceled. Like, what's that going to do for baseball? What's that going to do for, tennis? What's that going to do for rowing? And then the sports that people don't think about, what's it going to do for them? And the, of it. Like, I believe, I don't know if it was an Ivy League, but a major school cut baseball and softball, like, just because they didn't have a season this year. Like,
it's crazy.
It's a snowball effect.
That is crazy. But let's get into some more positive news here. Tyler Chatwood, Jose Quintana are back. Quintana will be in the bullpen. Chatwood, I don't know if he'll be back in the starting rotation or what's going to happen. But it's nice to have Quintana back. It's nice to have another arm out there that you can rely on, hopefully, to go out there and give you a good outing because we've been throwing. I like Alex Mills pitched good tonight. But you kind of get stuck with like a Tyson Miller, and then you try to. Edbert also looked really good. He had some nasty stuff the other night.
Good. He did look good, but I think he showed last year though, like that nasty stuff isn't consistent enough with him. But maybe I don't know. I guess he's had time to develop, so consistent now. But
yeah, and I'm excited to get Chatwood back because I was excited for his first start. His second start, it went but then he got hurt, and it's like, dang, because he can throw some gas. I mean, and he can go out there, and he's been in all situations.
Yeah.
He's pitched in the bullpen. He's pitched starting. Like, he's been around, and he understands the spots and the pressure.
Yeah, I agree. I'm happy to have him back too. I mean, when you look at the Cubs as a whole, one of the biggest reasons they went 13-3 to start the season was the pitching. There's like just no denying that. The starting pitching rotation was instrumental in getting them where they are, and especially recently with these offensive struggles, which hopefully have.
The offensive struggles have kind of been there all year. I mean, as much as you want to say they hit well at the beginning of the year, but it's not like they've done anything like that you would be like, oh, wow, this team is going crazy on offense.
Well, Zach, you can look at the numbers, and you'll even realize, and I think you guys would agree with this, the Cubs did a good job at beating up on bad teams early, and that the numbers look as inflated as they did, man. They handled the Brewers are not a very great baseball team, and they handled their business against them. The Pirates are a bad baseball team. Cincinnati's a very average team, and they put up big numbers against teams that they should put up big numbers against. They're doing it as we speak against the Tigers. Like, that they're doing those things. It's got to just become a consistent thing when you're playing good.
Last year, it seemed like we couldn't even do that. Like, at the end of the year, they couldn't even beat the bad teams.
Yeah, oh, no. It's definitely an improvement.
Yeah.
Well, no, and the other thing is with the early part of the season, their clutch hitting was a little bit more on point than it is currently. I know that's something that kind of they were getting the right hits at the right time to kind of push past. It's kind of like last night with Schwartz hitting that 2-run bomb to put him ahead. That was a little bit more, in flow and when they were winning. They need to kind of figure that back out. They've been so bad with bases loaded opportunities.
They've been bad with
Look
guys
how bad they've been on the base
paths
the last couple days. It's been embarrassingly bad.
Against the White Sox, it was ridiculous. Like, come on.
Well, tonight, I mean, Javi Baez runs into an out between third and home.
But it is nice.
Javi, we got to stop doing that.
So that's nice to see.
I am so happy to see that. I mean, he's been.
But if you look,
I honestly think.
Oh, sorry. The Cubs are in first place. Bryant's been hurt. Contreras and Baez and Rizzo have not been hitting well the last few weeks. and they're
all batting like under 230.
Yeah, Rizzo's just, I mean, he's been making solid contact, yes, but I think he was 0 for 16 as of like he got a hit yesterday. But he's just been struggling. The offense has just been struggling. Like guys like David Bodie's been hitting well. Schwarber's been hitting pretty well. But even at that, you look at this lineup and the averages just aren't there.
Except for two dudes who I would say need way more respect. Ian Happ. Victor Caratini.
Yes, Ian Happ and Victor Caratini. But Ian Happ went to the minors, fixed his stuff. We've said it a bunch of times on here. He needs more praise for how he's playing and how he's conducted himself going to the minors.
He literally could have just let his career go to the crapper. I mean, he was literally at the bottom of the bottoms of his career a year ago at this time. And, you know, now look at him. He's, like Mitch said.
He will be the starting center fielder as long as I hope he wants to be in Chicago.
100%.
Let me pose a question for fun. Trade deadline. When is it? Is it the end of the month?
I think it's the end of the month.
Like a week.
Do you think they're going to deal Almora?
I hope so.
Just depends.
What are you going to get out of him right now?
Yeah. I mean, he's not playing enough.
I mean, honestly,
not hitting well enough, and it's just like
I think defensively though he has.
Oh yeah, he's a good defender.
Talent.
He knows.
Cubs win.
He knows where to be.
But yeah, I mean, I think having Quintana in the bullpen will be really interesting because you almost think there's any chance that this is the start of the end of his career or anything like that.
Right.
But, you know, this is kind of how it starts. Those starting pitchers, you know, I'm not saying he's lost value, but they lose their value. They become long relievers, and then they become closers, and they're done. And I don't know. I know that personally I'm happy to have him back in any regard. It was super, super unfortunate that he had to be out at all, especially since injury was.
Yeah.
But
it sounds like something they would do.
Yeah, that is something Boomy would do.
Professional athlete.
But yeah, I mean, but I don't know. I know that I couldn't help, and I know that it's got to be the same for every Cubs fan. Just watching Eloy and watching Dylan Cease about the output we've gotten from Quintana, it's just that's a bitter sting.
I move
there.
Past that, and I just think of Fernando Tatis.
But it always makes me feel better when I'm reminded that that same team traded Fernando Tatis Jr. for James Shields. So that heals my wound a little.
I know, it's like, and it's one of those things. It's like it's gonna trade. That's gonna, you know, it's just in that particular instance, it wasn't like you were trading away questionables. You were trading away.
You were trading away
really highly. And I honestly at the time, and in the present, if you put me back on the day that it happened, I was actually pretty happy. I thought Quintana was going to be a lot better than he has been, and he's shown those. I would just, if he can get back into top form and finish out the season strong, that could really put the Cubs over the edge, I think, of, you know, being a legitimate top contender and not just kind of, you know, the team that is kind of on the fringe all the time.
Let's get into it. Like Mitch said, the
100%.
Cubs win 9-3 in Detroit. I think it's the first of 3-game series, and so that's exciting. The Cubs need to sweep this series. Then Boomy said they go to Cincinnati. They need to beat Cincinnati.
4 games in 3
days.
Yeah.
Pretty decent team Cincinnati is, but the Cubs need to go on a little tear here after that. They win 1 of 3 against the White Sox. The offense just needs to get hot here. Like we said, Javi, 2 home runs tonight. That is nice to see. Get him going offensively. I think I saw David Bodie had another home run, 455-foot home run. He's been playing well throughout all the offensive struggles here. They kind of kept him in games. He hit that one the other night. That was huge. But I just want to see this offense get hot here against some teams that aren't that good and get their confidence back, hopefully.
That's exactly right. Confidence is key because, man, they were just games. I mean, they're like, what, 4 and 6 of their last 10?
And say what you want, like, whatever, but, you know, Detroit's not good. These 2 divisions aren't good. But guess what? You got to win the games. And whatever.
That's right.
You professional athletes, whatever, you score 9 runs, the confidence will start to get there.
Yeah, you got to build on it.
Yeah. It's nice. You said
no,
you could have gone out there and struggle again tonight. and they didn't. They went out there and they played well
Right.
after a tough series. But I don't know if either of you listened to The Compound. It's a podcast with Ian Happ, and he was kind of saying the same thing. You kind of get wrapped up in the whole White Sox-Cubs series, and you want to win. But it was literally one series. They won the last game. They didn't get swept, and you kind of got to move on. Like I kind of got swept up in it, like Friday night into Saturday, and you're mad, and you get beat up pretty bad by the White Sox. But you got to realize it's one series, and it's baseball. There's still 60 games in here in this season. It's not a 3-game season.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also, you mentioned that whole mentality of like, well, they're only beating bad teams or whatever. Hey, time and time again, historically, you look at the best teams year to year. They're the best teams because they capitalized on playing bad teams.
Last year, the Cubs did not capitalize on that, especially at the end of the year. They were playing bad teams and they were still losing. Like, you gotta.
Yeah, and I mean, and you hope to go 500 against the good ones. If you just outright destroy the bad ones and are able to then go 500 against the bad or against the good. That's a winning season right there, and that's how it's put together most of the time,
And it's nice to get back into the winning ways. Wow, I'm watching that Bodie home run right now. One more thing on the Cubs.
That was a big one.
Marquee. What's up with Sean Marshall being on this broadcast and stuff? Like, dude, let's get some guys with some personality.
Who do you want? You didn't like Mark Grace. You don't like Sean Marshall. Who does Zach want?
Len, and I want JD.
Other than Zach Lilia.
I want some guys with some personality.
Mark Grace was really bad.
Mark Grace, at least he was throwing a little bit of fire in there, but he's suspended.
At least he was, talking about his ex-wife. That was at least entertaining.
I just don't.
Dempster's
I just don't like how they're kind of forcing the broadcast. I know JD's out. I think he ended up hurting himself, like on a golf. Did he fall off the golf?
Yeah, he fell off the
golf cart?
Again, sounds like something I would do.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that was the reason he was out. I've been kind of wondering where the heck he's been. That's interesting. That's also very
interesting. Put Ryan Dempster the next, which Ryan Dempster, even at that, it's like I don't know.
What exactly did Mark Grace do? I didn't really hear I knew he said something about his ex-wife. It wasn't like wildly inappropriate.
It's just dumb.
It was
not the time of the play
on live
It's
TV.
one of those things like, what do you expect from Mark Grace going on live television?
I was gonna say the guy's got like 3 DUIs.
I'm gonna be honest. He was painful. I did not enjoy him at all.
That's my guy, man. That was like my favorite player growing up. It hurts my heart.
I always liked him as a player too, but he's just
he wasn't good in the booth.
None of those guys were really. I'm not gonna say that.
It's so hard, man. Like there's always
why professionals are paid to do it.
A third is kind of a fourth.
That's why they got professionals. Professional broadcast.
Yeah, exactly.
But then you also sometimes roll the dice on people like Tony Romo, and it turns out to be the best choice ever. So
like we can just turn the radio on, and there's fucking Pat and Ron. Pat Hughes. Sorry.
No, seriously, they're so good.
Pat Hughes is the greatest. I can listen to Pat Hughes call just about anything.
I saw something about Harry Carey, or maybe it was like the anniversary that Harry Carey had passed away. I don't remember what it was, but it made me think in my head. I'm like, what am I gonna do mentally when Pat Hughes decides to step away from the booth?
Yeah, it's gonna be sad.
I don't know that on the radio that wasn't called by Pat Hughes.
I don't know. Last time I heard one, it wasn't by Pat Hughes and a guy named Ron.
Yeah, exactly, man. It's gonna break my heart.
That will be brutal.
We don't have to worry about that for a while because it's just beautiful.
Knock on wood.
I mean, and then you also the mental side of yourself is going to say, well, they were the ones who called the freaking World.
Yeah, when he called his World Series, Pat Hughes' World Series call was the greatest.
I will always remember they're running onto the field like a bunch of.
You know what, boys? Speaking of that, I'm going to put it in right here. We have a cameo that I got from Pat Hughes one time. That talked about it, so we'll put that in here, right here.
Hey, Zach, how are you? It's Pat Hughes, radio announcer for the Chicago Cubs. I want to thank you for thinking of me for this assignment, and I would like to wish you all the best with your podcast, Typical Chicago Fans. but it says you're a great fan. You love listening to games on the Score during the season, and you can't wait for the next year to begin. I'm getting ready for this season to get underway. I think the team might surprise people. I know a lot of people are upset the Cubs have not been more active in the marketplace in this offseason, but we have a good team already. That lineup is going to scare a lot of pitchers. We're going to score a lot of runs. We're going to belt a lot of home runs. We do need that bullpen to hold on to late leads and not let those games slip away in the 8th and 9th innings. That's what really cost us, I think, a chance to play in the postseason a year ago. But it says here that you'll never forget the call I made when the Cubs won the World Series. Do you mean the Chicago Cubs win the World Series? Would that be the one you're talking about, Zach? Because it was so much fun. I feel so fortunate to have been the first Cubs announcer ever to say those words when you think about it, because 1908, the last time they won the World Series, there was no such thing as baseball on the radio or baseball on the television. So I was the first Cubs announcer, and I'm very, very proud of that, and I would love to do it again, like this season. But again, best of luck to you and your podcast, Typical Chicago Fans. And one final thought, Zach. Go Cubs! And peace.
But yeah, I do have that. It's a cameo.
Tugs at your heart.
Crazy. So I hope you guys like that. But Boomy, do you have a wacky web story for us?
You're darn right, fellas. You guys lose stuff every
Always.
once in a while.
Always.
Like sometimes. Always. Zach, you lose stuff a lot. Zach, even just today, me and Zach had golf league. We got almost to the clubhouse. Zach had to turn around and forgot his water.
I mean, that's not losing,
right?
I forgot it.
Yeah, typical, typical things. However, a family in Tennessee lost something for a substantial amount of time that, I'll be very honest, no one should ever lose for 74 days. And they lost a 150-pound African sulcata tortoise.
This went missing?
How do you lose a 150-pound turtle for almost 3 months?
No one else find it.
It's 150 pounds. It already moves like a turtle. Where is it going?
That's what I was thinking.
Find
how could it even get away from you?
It's a rock
Where
with
did they
legs.
find it?
How do you lose a 150-pound turtle?
Where did they end up? Like, where was it? Where did they end up finding that?
It says they was literally managing to make it less than a mile during his slow and steady journey, but he left his enclosure in Ashland City 2 months ago. He was discovered just an eighth of a mile away from the home last week.
That's crazy.
And I believe they said it was grazing near a construction site and was returned to the family after that. As a 15-year-old tortoise, but I don't understand how you lose a 150-pound rock for 3 months.
That's insane.
You can't go that
dumb.
far. Unless it hitches the ride, it ain't going anywhere.
Yeah. Mitch had a turtle.
Yeah. To add to the story, we lost one of our turtles. Remember?
Oh yeah.
Was it big? Was it 150?
They were like handhold size, but
That's
yeah.
different.
Well, so my parents and they still do have one of the turtles, but we used to have two, and they have it outside. I guess you call it like a pen for them, just outside for a little bit, whatever the term would be. And yeah, one
turtles grazing.
Climbed, yeah, grazing. One of them climbed up construction of the pen and ran away.
That's crazy.
Gone.
Post show. We're gonna go to post show. Mitch kind of grew up in a zoo. Mitch had dogs, cats,
Say that as if it's not
rabbits, turtles, iguana.
not
hamster.
iguana, bearded dragon.
Oh, bearded dragon.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Does.
Hamster. Turtles.
My brother killed like 5 hamsters.
Well,
And Zach,
chance.
I'm curious. Do you remember when my one hamster had babies, and we gave them? I was actually thinking about this the other night. I'm trying to remember who all got one. I know Austin Safran Arrow. I'm pretty sure both took one. Do you remember anybody else who took those?
No, but you had a lot.
That was it. So we had a hamster, a female hamster named the letters AE. Kind of a backstory to that, but whatever. Fool's Day. I was like 12 years old, or maybe 11, and I watched this hamster give birth to 5 hamster babies. And I run downstairs to my mom. Keep in mind, it's April Fool's Day.
No one believes.
And I say, Mom, our hamster just had 5 babies in the cage. And she's like, okay,
yeah. Playing Mitch, go to school.
Okay, yeah. Why are you home right now? And that legitimately happened. And then I can't remember what happened to all of them, but yeah, we got all of them homes. But yeah, we had a lot of small critters around growing up.
Yeah, like I said, then there was the rabbit.
I should clarify that my brother didn't kill hamsters; they just died on his watch. It wasn't like he wasn't like dissecting hamsters or anything. I don't want to put that out there.
Boomy.
He wasn't doing like some pre-crime
He was
stuff.
nice to the
so
hamsters.
I want to clear
nice
that.
To the hamsters. They died of natural causes.
Well, one just got out.
Natural causes.
One, I think, on accident.
Well, we just stop. Boomy.
It's not making it better.
No, you need to stop talking. All right. Well, thank you to Mitch Prentice at Mitch R. Prentice on Twitter. Boomy, I don't know. You might not get asked back. At Boomy TC.
What do you mean? It wasn't me that killed
I know,
hamsters.
but you're the one who said it.
I'm just creating conversation.
Tag Lilia at Lilia TCF on Twitter. The main page is at typical_Chicago. Go over to Instagram. Follow the Typical Chicago Fans Instagram page. Please go over to Facebook and like our Typical Chicago Fans page. Go over to YouTube. Subscribe to the Typical Chicago Fans YouTube page. Put all of our morning shows, our podcasts, our food reviews. So we'll be putting them all on there. So go over there and subscribe. And then if you're on Apple, subscribe, rate, review. Spreaker, follow us. And then if you're on Spotify, also follow us on there. Shout out to 26shirts.com Chicago. Make sure you go over there, buy some clothes. Use the promo code Typical Chicago Fans in all caps, and you get 15% off of your purchase. Again, that is Typical Chicago Fans in all caps. 15% off over at 26shirts.com Chicago. Follow them on all social medias. We love them over there. Boys, anything else? Nothing.
Let's have a Tuesday, baby.
Be nice to your hamsters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't let him around my brother.
Better
I think
know.
Boomy's kind of covering this up. Maybe it was him. This has been the TCF Morning Show, Tuesday, August 25th. We love you all.
Peace.
Bye.